Hello everyone, welcome to the semi-finals of GP Atlanta 2012. Daryl Ayers and Michael Majors with you, as are Rich Hagan and Sheldon Menery here in the commentary booth. There you see Michael Majors getting ready to go. He looks like we...
Not quite ready to go.
Okay. And Ayers having a little shrug. There you see him. Not quite sure why they didn't resolve mulligans while we're waiting, but there we are. Players gearing up for their semi-final of Esper Stoneblade for Majors against Rug Delver for Ayers. In the other semi-final, Fred Edelkamp, who vanquished his Swiss round conqueror Ben Stark in the quarterfinals, faces Galdenis Vidugiris, who is comfortably the most accomplished of these four remaining. Two of the three big names gone, Ben Stark gone, and also Sam Black gone.
Yeah, we'll have to check about previous Pro Tour invitations for Edelkamp, Ayers, and Majors. I mean, we obviously know Go has been there before, as we watched him being a finalist in Barcelona.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. I mean, all three of them now have earned
invites,
Pro Tour invites,
courtesy of the quarterfinal win. So here's six coming the way of Michael Majors.
That looks keepable. See Stoneforge, Fetchland, a Tundra.
And are we away? Daryl Ayers is poised with his opening land drop of the match. And there it is. We're away.
Looks like a polluted Delta.
Polluted Delta.
Island from Michael Majors.
The draw there was a Delver, I believe. With which he fetches a volcanic island. And there is Delver of Secrets. Turn 2, probably going to see that Stoneforge Mystic come down. Certainly Ayers can be, we see Force of Will in his hand, and Majors might also have him on days. So given that Ayers has 7 different answers to Stoneforge Mystic, Michael Majors plays the odds a little bit, plays a Brainstorm. There we see a natural counterspell. That's actually my favorite counterspell picture.
Is that
the Tempest one?
Oh, okay. No, I like that guy with the beard. And the 2 pointing fingers.
Yeah.
I never met a counterspell I didn't like, though, so...
Cracking the Flooded Strand on Major side, going to get Underground Sea, because he's probably going to play that Thoughtseize.
And here we are. Going to lay out 2 Thought Bolt, Force of Will, Stifle, Spell Pierce, and Tarmogoyf. It's Inquisition, in fact. Yep.
Inquisition. Ghostlight.
So Force of Will off to one side. And then what do you pick? That's the choice for Michael Majors right now. Very useful to know about the Stifle.
Yes.
Even if you decide to leave it there,
right,
as you may.
Saw it used to very, very good effect against Sam Black. He takes the Tarmogoyf.
So there's a Ponder on top, so Delver will be an aberration of the insectile variety, and we'll pile in for 3 shortly. Cast that Ponder that he just drew. See a Daze, Force of Will, and a Spell Pierce.
So plenty of action coming up for Daryl Ayers. I mean, he might be thinking about it. He's seen the hand that he has and the hand that he has the cards that he have coming up. He may just be thinking about riding this insectile aberration all the way home. There's the first hit of 3 from the insectile aberration. Drops Majors down to 16. He then wastes Ayers' only land.
And yet still, Majors is down to 13. Now that said, we can see it swords to plowshares there, so he's not in any danger of being aberrationed out in this one. How about a Geistis and Traft? There were 7 cards in hand. There's certainly the ability to force of will.
Yeah, I don't think there's any...
Stifle goes away, so off goes Geistis and Traft.
Yeah, I think that Geist is one of the ones he has to get.
Compulsory.
Yeah.
In I come. Halfway there. Michael Majors down to 10. Thought sees you. Let's have a look this time what we got. Dink. 2 Thought Bolts. Spell Pierce. Daze. Another Spell Pierce. And a Force of Will. And a pen across the table.
Yeah.
So Majors at 8. Gonna have to be a little careful here, since the forked bolt represents 50% of his remaining life.
Yeah, clearly the Force of Will is the take here, because then he's going to swords the aberration, leaving Ayers
at 2 mana remaining. Knows that the Stoneforge will resolve, and for what feels like the 95th time this weekend, a Batterskull will be threatening to take over a game.
So Ayers 21 life, but no permanents.
Yes.
That Batterskull is going to come down this turn, courtesy of Stoneforge Mystic. He's not gonna wait for Ayers to possibly draw Stifle and the mana to cast it. Vindicate for Majors. There's 6 coming in, and the life totals are going to swap around pretty fast here.
So brutal. Yay! It's a wasteland.
Wasteland's not going to do much.
Just what I always didn't want.
11 to 16.
In we go. Another land. But the damage is done. You can Fort Bolt the Stoneforge Mystic if you want, but Batterskull's there. There's Tarmogoyf, and that's going to be met with a counterspell, because Michael Majors knows he's only one more counterspell or Vindicate away from ending the game. Majors back up to 20. Ayers rocketing down.
Should be 5, right?
There's Vindicate, and it's game. So Michael Majors leads 1-0. It's funny how when you know permanent someone, you so often go on to win.
Yeah.
Of the game.
See our own Steve Saden there doing text coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Can read every word he writes. So, sideboard plan here. Both No, there are no submerges in Michael Major's sideboard. There are 4 of them
Daryl?
for Daryl. Although with his opponent not having forests, probably less likely for them to come in.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't really see much. I mean, obviously the Ancient Grudges are going to come in for Ayers, because he's going to need them against the Batterskull.
Yes, although as we've seen, there have been multiple matches where, had there been Ancient Grudges around, finding the key moment when they become relevant is really, really tough.
Right.
I mean, sure, you bring them in and you hope to find that relevant moment, but that Batterskull really does a good job of protecting itself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you might also get in the scenario where it's come out via the Stoneforge Mystic, you get rid of the Mystic, and then it gets bounced. He doesn't have the mana to recast it, or it slows him down a couple of turns. So we'll see the sideboard plan. Against Ayers, not really sure. The major sideboard includes 1 Wrath, 1 Disenchant, 2 Lingering Souls, a Jite, a Humility, 2 Perish, 3 Surgical Extraction, 2 Canonist, and 2 Pass to Exile. I'm not sure I see a strong plan. Obviously, Majors is going to some cards.
See some humilities coming in.
And Path to Exile.
Tell me when they can start. We start whenever you're ready.
Majors went to 6 on that game.
Indeed. In the background, you see the back of Adelkamp. As we did last time, he's kept his seat, the winning chair from the quarterfinals. And he's up against Cardenas Fidegiris. We don't have a score update yet from that table, so assume they're still in game 1.
So player shuffling up, going on to game 2. Ayers going to hope to probably draw more than 1 land.
Sure. This is also the round, in a sense, where players don't care. Like, the top 8s now, GPs, have this kind of U shape to them. There is this, they arrive at this absolute peak of tension where they play their quarterfinals.
Right.
And they're either trying to make a Pro Tour for both of them,
Right.
or they're sitting there going, I have to get past a Pro Tour champion. In the case of Adelkamp, for example, I have to get past a Pro Tour champion to reach the Pro Tour. Now, if you do that, that has to be an unbelievable rush.
Sure.
Now, in the semi-finals, you're playing for a pro point, a few $100s, no invite, and no trophy. Yes, you're playing for the right to play for a trophy,
Right.
but there is no trophy for winning the semi-final. There is no way, if you're going to succeed, you've got at least, you have 1 more match to play afterwards.
Right.
It's the absolute one where, and particularly here, where you've got the dynamic of Majors and Ayers, who have both just been off that top of the ledge
Right.
and gone, we've made it in. This is the one where you look at each other, new best buds. It's almost like IDing in the last round. It's like you've never met before, but you are brothers in arms. Look what we did. We're going to get to go to Seattle. Right? And then the semi-finals, you kind of almost play kitchen table match game. And then whoever wins suddenly discovers there's a championship trophy and part of history on it.
Yeah, the additive EV here in the set from quarterfinals to semifinals is less than it was from last round to quarterfinals. So, I know Rashad Miller will be excited. 3 fetch lands, 2 flooded strands, and a polluted delta.
Ayers will attempt a nimble mongoose. Majors will not crack his flooded strand. He will add land to the board and pass.
We also see in Major's hand Perish, which neatly disposes of nimble mongoose.
Yes, of any size.
That 2 stifles in Ayers' hand? Yes. 2 stifles, forked bolt, just drew a goif.
So it might be 2 fork bolts. Maybe it's 1 of each. Well, can't quite see.
Yeah, the left-hand one looks like a lightning bolt. Cracks Polluted Delta.
Had Pyroblasts in the board.
Yeah, Ayers' sideboard is 2 Mine Harness, 4 Submerged, 3 Pyroblasts, 3 Grafdigger's Cage, 2 Ancient Grudge, and a Life from the Loam.
Okay.
Some chance Ancient Grudge comes in. Decent chance of the Pyroblast, too.
Yeah. Life from the Loam.
How about that, then?
Well, how about that then leads to a response of a Brainstorm, which drew Humility, Snapcaster Mage, and a Stoneforge Mystic.
So the point of the Life from the Loam in this matchup is to simply out-resource your opponent. Paying a couple of life to crack these fetches. Getting more land into play. Because now he's guaranteed land drops turns in a row.
It's hard to imagine there used to be arguments when those things arrived about, were they any good? 2 life, that's 20% of your life.
Right.
You crack 3 of them, that's 30% of your life. Your Conley Woods, it's all of your life.
My turn's on up, by the way.
Yeah.
3 of them will be 15. I mean, there's no real other dredge plan except for turning on the nimble mongoose, right?
Yeah. So his Inquisition, we get to lay it all out. Lightning Bolt, Fork Bolt, double Stifle, double Tarmogoyf.
And Michael Majors is right now secretly saying, please, please, please drop both of those Tarmogoyfs on the table.
Yeah, now, I mean, can he justify taking something else without telegraphing that he doesn't care about the Tarmogoyfs? He takes one.
I mean, Ayers is a smart player, and he knows that the parishes are in the sideboard,
Yes.
and he's probably pretty sure that they've come in for the match.
Yeah, he also knows that there's only 2. And although there's plenty of search, it's...
There's the wife.
Majors off camera just knocks it off the list, the shopping list of this was Ayers' hand a moment ago. Wasteland, and there is Perish for the 2 for 1. Days when hoses.
I mean, if you're sitting in Ayers' position right there, and he doesn't take one of the Tarmogoyfs, do you not play either, or do you still have to run down?
You put one out, don't you? I mean, it makes such a difference in terms of the speed of the game. To not put one out just seems...
Well, it would.
You've got to do something. I mean, otherwise you're sitting there with, I've got a bolt and a fork bolt and you're at 18. I have a 1-1 that will eventually become a 3-3, but
Yeah, well,
it's not doing very much.
yeah, worse than losing the 2-for-1 is getting bluffed into not playing your Tarmogoyfs. Yeah, that would be the horrible end.
And if it worked that way every time, you'd just never bother putting the parishes in.
Right.
Sounds like Fred Edelkamp is 1-0 to the good over Galenis Vidugiris. With all the big names in trouble here in the top 8.
Is Fred Edelkamp going to add Giant Slayer to his resume? I mean, getting past Ben Stark and
the path to victory is pretty steep, yes.
Right. So we see Lingering Souls from Michael Majors. Doesn't really care currently about the Nibble Mongoose, since there are only 5 cards in Ayers' graveyard. Still a brainstorm or so away from Threshold. Seeing Umezawa's Jite in Major's hand. Stoneforge Mystic. And there's the Jite.
Very pretty one it is too.
Now Majors has to remember that there are 2 stifles in Ayers' hand.
Another good reason to write it down, which he has done. There's a stifle.
Attention players, I need Drew Levin. Please report to the event stage. Drew Levin or Levine, please report to the event stage. Craig Mitchell, please come to the side of the stage. Craig Mitchell, please come to the side of the stage.
Darrell Ayers still with 5 cards in hand. Forks Bolt. Let's put both your tokens in the bin. It's quite refreshing to see a single removal card deal with multiple Lingering Souls tokens in a very straight...
Right.
I've got 2 of these, and now you've got none of them.
Right.
Same...
So that threshold for the Mongoose is now on, with the polluted Delta getting cracked.
Yes, obligingly fans out his graveyard for us. For you at home, around the world, thanks for your company as always. A couple of polluted Delta and a Wasteland will go back. Wasteland away. And attack.
Still 7 cards.
So the Jitty's sitting there a threat, but will Majors ever be able to make good on that threat?
Between the Bolt and the other Stifle,
Could be a while.
it could be never.
Two mana for Snapcaster. And that causes Darrell to lean across and have a quick check out the graveyard. It's pretty extensive.
Snapcast results.
Inquisition? Ponder?
Looks like it's Ponder,
It is Ponder.
and it's going to be met with Days.
Certainly Majors has the option of cracking that fetch land to pay for the days, but then he doesn't have mana to pay for the Ponder.
Yeah. And also, with the fun and joy of life from the line, he's well aware that at some point that Flooded Strand may need to become an urgent form of mana
Right.
that can't be wastelanded away and
Right.
at a critical moment. Ayers looking to square things. He's behind. Vidugiris is behind to Fred Adelkamp.
Life from the Loam onto a wasteland plan seems quite interesting when your deck can run on so little mana. Okay, now for the battle of our days. Stoneforge Mystic.
All right. Shit, he's still there. And we go back to Ayers, who now just draws. There will be no replacement this time.
Draw second roll.
Looks like it, yes. And one of them is going to be aimed at the Stoneforge Mystic
To no surprise.
and to the graveyard. It's gone. Inquisition. Daryl is about to lay 4 cards onto the table. 2 land, Stifle, Lightning Bolt.
Huh. Alright, let's see if we can think about this fast enough before Michael makes his decision. See. Okay. I was about to say seems like the Stifle's the call, but let's think through and figure out why the Lightning Bolt might be, but
And now Snapcaster Mage
to take the other one.
gets a Brainstorm. Sees Lingering Souls, Swords to Plowshares, and a land. Mages wants to be able to crack that Flooded Strand at some point should he need to.
Right, because I mean that's he has to hard cast the Batterskull now.
Now, because eventually that life from the loam is going to make mages start to run out of land.
Right.
Shelter and Wasteland. I'd like to Wasteland your Wasteland, just to make sure you can't do anything back to me. So, Mages draws, sacks the Flooded Strand, so here we go.
I think he's going for basic. Yeah, he's going for planes.
Yes. I would like my land not to be wasted.
Right.
There's land number 5. 5, Batterskull. Here we are again. Thought Grizzlebrand might be the card of the weekend coming in. Something like Batterskull's pretty awesome. Done a lot of heavy lifting in the background.
It sure has.
That said, three of the last 4 decks have been Delver decks. 2 Rug Delver, 1 Blue-White Delver.
I'm gonna make the right decision.
And there you go. That is game, set, and match to Michael Majors. The Batterskull, he got there, and he makes it through to the final.
That Ponder Cube on the first game, you're like,
Congratulations to
it was
him.
like another
Majors
port, another
advances
days,
from the
another
bottom
12
half of the
so, like,
bracket.
if he doesn't have
Esper